I'm starting off the year with a bang. I'm not uploading as frequently as I want to. I didn't read as many books last month as I wanted to. School has finally started and I'm already stressed, and it's just fantastic. What a great start to the year. I'm really optimistic about it. Hey guys, it's Hannah, and today I'm filming a very quick January wrap-up. So in the month of January, I ended up reading a total of 4 books, which is far less than I wanted to read in January because I was off the whole month, but I just kind of got sucked into other things and I was in a bit of a reading slump, so I just kind of didn't feel like reading very much. I actually had a very good reading month because I rated every single one of the books that I read this month a 5 out of 5 stars, which I think is a record. I don't think I've ever done that in a whole month. Granted, 2 of them were rereads that I would have already given 5 out of 5 stars, but still, it was a pretty good reading month and I thoroughly enjoyed everything that I read. But without any further ado, let's get into all of the books that I read in the month of January. So the first book that I completed in January was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling. I obviously thoroughly enjoyed it, as can be expected, and I think I appreciated this one a lot more reading it as an adult, which I think this one used to be my least favorite in the series, as least favorite as a Harry Potter book can be, but of the series it was one of the ones that I kind of liked a little bit less than the other ones. But now reading it again as an adult, I think I enjoy it and appreciate it a lot more. I really loved this one. I have a far greater appreciation for Lupin that I didn't have as a kid, and I don't know why, but I love him and adore him now. And I'm just really happy with the new perspective that I have on this book. And I'm very happy that I decided to reread these as an adult because I'm loving them even more. The next book that I read in January was a highly anticipated book for me and is on my list of top 16 books I want to read in 2016, which I've made a whole video about, so I will leave a link if you guys want to go watch that. But I finally ended up reading one of the ones on that list this month, and it is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Like I said, I've been wanting to read this book for a very long time, and I finally got around to reading it last month, and I loved it. It was heartbreaking. I cried so much in this book. I think almost more than I've cried in any other book. It was just so impactful and heart-wrenching and just all around beautiful. I highly enjoyed this story. The illustrations in it were also really beautiful, just wonderful, so well-rounded as a story and as characters individually in here. I adored this book and I highly recommend it. The second to last book that I read in January was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. The Goblet of Fire is probably one of my favorite books in the Harry Potter series, probably like my second or third favorite in the whole series. I adore this book, and I was really happy reading it this month. It just was so easy to get through because I knew what was going to happen, but I also loved every single word because it's Harry Potter and I will always love every single word, so it was just fantastic and a great thing to read in January for me. And finally, the very last book that I read in the month of January was a book that I was very excited to read because if you guys watched my currently reading video that I posted a couple of weeks back, then you heard me talking about this book because I mentioned that I was reading it, but I finally finished it and I'm very happy because I loved it a lot. But that book is Howls Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. I watched the movie for Howls Moving Castle a couple of weeks back for the first time and I absolutely fell in love with it. I have seen it twice since then because I love it that much. But my friend had a copy of the book and I wanted to read it after watching it and loving it so much, so I did, and I read it and I loved it and I thought it was fantastic. I will say that the story in the book was far different than it was from the story in the movie. There were some similarities, of course, but it was also very different. They were 2 kind of independent entities, and I like them that way. I like each of them differently, but I do love both of them. Personally, I have to say that I like the movie better in some ways, and there are some aspects in the book that I like better, but I think overall I prefer the movie to the book. But the book is so different that I can't really compare the 2. But nonetheless, I absolutely loved the book. I thought it was fantastic. A lot of you were commenting saying that it was your favorite book of all time, and I totally get that because it's so good. I love the story. I love Sophie's character. I really just want to cosplay her now because I'm that obsessed with Howls and with just the book and the movie and everything about it. So I'm kind of thinking about doing that. But nonetheless, loved the book so, so much, and I'm very happy that I read it last month. So that is it, guys. Those are all of the books that I read in the month of January. So let me know in the comments down below, what was your favorite book that you read in the month of January? I have to say that my favorite book that I read this month is probably A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, which is kind of surprising because I really loved Howl's Moving Castle and I adored the movie, and I obviously love Harry Potter, but this book just was not what I was expecting it to be in the best way possible, and I just loved it so, so much. So it's definitely my favorite one that I read this month. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! One of my favorite plays. It's so funny. It's just so well written and so clever.